Fear is not weakness. It's instinct, a signal, a shadow that walks beside you. But when fear begins to make your choices, you stop living. You hesitate, you shrink, you settle. You call it caution, but deep down, you know it's fear. The Stoics didn't fight fear, they walked with it. Not because they were fearless, but because they understood. A man who walks through fear is free. A man who runs from it is a slave. This is the Stoic truth about fear. And once you face it, it loses its power. Fear never leaves. You can be strong, wise, experienced, and still feel fear. It never disappears. It only changes shape. Today you fear failure. Tomorrow, rejection. Next week, starting again. The strong don't wait for fear to vanish. They learn to live with it. The Stoic doesn't fight fear. He simply stops obeying it. Weak men wait for courage. Strong men act and courage follows. You don't need to kill fear. You just need to stop kneeling to it. Fear is not your enemy. It's your mirror. It doesn't just show you what you're afraid of. It shows you where you're still fragile. You don't fear the thing. You fear what it means. You fear public speaking, not because of the words, but the judgment. You fear walking away, not the leaving, but the emptiness. The Stoic doesn't run from that reflection. He studies it, because fear reveals your edge, the line between who you are and who you could be. Weak men look away. Strong men lean in, because behind fear is the version of you that hasn't been born yet. And it's waiting. Most fear is fiction. What you fear isn't real, it's a movie in your mind. You fear failure, but you've survived worse. You fear judgment, but most people aren't even watching. You fear the unknown, but that's where all growth lives. Fear paints in shadows. It distorts, enlarges, lies. The Stoic doesn't wait for the fear to go away. He walks into it, because he knows what looks terrifying in thought feels smaller in action. Weak men negotiate with fear. Strong men test it. And when they do, they find out most of it was never even there. Fear grows in silence. The more you avoid it, the more it controls you. You laugh louder, work harder, talk smarter, all to keep people from seeing that you're scared. But fear thrives in the dark. The Stoic brings it into the light. He doesn't scream it. He simply names it. I fear this, and am still doing it, because naming your fear breaks its spell. Weak men hide it. Strong men hold it in open hands. You don't have to shout your fear to the world. But if you keep lying to yourself, it will own you. Speak it, then step forward. Fear isn't a stop sign. It's a question. When fear shows up, it doesn't mean turn back. It means, are you ready? Ready to lose what's safe? Ready to face what's real? Ready to grow beyond comfort? The Stoic hears fear and leans in. He doesn't obey it, he examines it. What exactly am I afraid of? And when he answers that, he knows what needs to be built. Fear points to the next lesson. The weak avoid it. The strong accept it as curriculum. Because behind every fear is the man you're meant to become. If you're brave enough to meet him, fear is a gym. Every time you push against it, you get stronger. Not louder, not tougher, just more grounded. You don't flinch at rejection. You don't collapse in conflict. You don't run when things get uncertain. The Stoic doesn't avoid fear, he trains with it. He treats it like resistance, because resistance builds resilience. Weak men want confidence first. Strong men earn it in the reps. Fear won't go away, but your reaction can change. And that reaction is the difference between staying small and stepping into strength. Fear is a door. It always shows up right before something meaningful, before the truth, before the leap, before the real beginning. Weak men see fear as a wall. Strong men see it as a threshold. The Stoic doesn't ask, how do I avoid fear? He asks, what's behind it that matters this much? Because fear guards the gates of growth. You can stand in front of that door for years, or you can walk through it, not because it's easy, but because you're done waiting. Fear feeds on delay. The more you wait, the bigger it gets. It grows in hesitation, in the space between the thought and the action. Weak men freeze. They plan, they think it through, they wait for the right time. But the Stoic knows fear isn't defeated by logic. It's outpaced by motion. You don't outthink fear. You outrun it with action. Start fast. Move now, before fear builds its fortress. Because once you pause, it starts building walls in your mind. And the longer you wait, the harder it is to break out. Fear shapes your life if you let it. Every choice you avoid because of fear builds the walls you live inside. You fear being alone, so you stay in broken relationships. You fear failure, so you never try. You fear judgment, so you stay quiet, small, invisible. The Stoic doesn't let fear draw his map. He builds life by principle, not panic. Weak men organize their lives around what they fear. Strong men organize their lives around what they value. And every time you choose fear, you trade a piece of your future for a piece of fake safety. Stop making fear your architect. It doesn't build homes. It builds cages. Fear wears a disguise. It doesn't say, "I'm fear." It says, "Be realistic. Now's not the time. Let's be smart about this." But behind those words is the same thing. You're scared. Scared to look foolish. Scared to fail. Scared to actually want something. The Stoic sees through the disguise. He asks, if I wasn't afraid, would I still do this? If the answer is yes, then fear is just noise. Weak men believe the costume. Strong men look beneath it, because truth lives under the mask, and only the brave rip it off. Fear is a growth signal. It shows you where you still have work to do. You fear speaking up? Time to strengthen your voice. You fear letting go? Time to build trust in yourself. You fear starting over? Time to develop courage, not comfort. The Stoic doesn't curse fear, he studies it. He knows fear isn't a dead end. It's a red arrow pointing straight at your next level. Weak men avoid those arrows. Strong men follow them, because they understand fear isn't the enemy of strength. It's the invitation to become it. Fear hates movement. It thrives in stillness, in overthinking, in maybe later. But the second you move, even just a little, it weakens. You speak the hard truth. You take the first step. You make the call. And suddenly, fear starts to fade. Not because it's gone, but because you're no longer under it. The Stoic doesn't wait to feel ready. He knows readiness is built by moving anyway. Weak men sit and wait for courage. Strong men create it, one uncomfortable action at a time. Fear can't follow a man who's already in motion. Fear enslaves you if you obey it. Every time you retreat, fear gets stronger. Every not today, every excuse, every silence. It remembers, and next time it shows up sooner, louder.
Taller.
The Stoic knows courage is a habit. Obedience to fear is a habit too. And whichever one you practice more becomes who you are. Weak men let fear drive. Strong men take the wheel even with shaking hands, because they'd rather steer through terror than ride quietly toward regret. Fear remembers your patterns. Back down once and it learns. Comes back faster next time, with new excuses, new logic, new ways to make you stop. But the Stoic breaks the cycle. He doesn't just fight fear once. He chooses a life where action wins every time. He rewrites the pattern. Fear shows up. I move anyway. Weak men reinforce fear by surrendering. Strong men weaken it by acting. Every time you step forward, you shrink the shadow. And every time you don't, you make it darker. You can't kill fear, but you can command it. Fear won't vanish. It walks beside you always, but that doesn't mean it gets to speak. The Stoic doesn't try to be fearless. He aims to be fear-trained, to recognize it, to face it, to let it whisper, but never decide. Weak men want fear gone. Strong men give it a seat in the room, but never the seat at the head of the table. You don't need to silence fear. You need to stop letting it vote. Feel it and do it anyway. Fear is part of growing up. You don't mature without facing fear. You don't evolve by staying safe. Every version of you that's stronger, clearer, bolder, is born on the other side of fear. The Stoic doesn't resist this. He embraces it, because he knows pain doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're becoming. Weak men stall their growth by avoiding discomfort. Strong men grow through it. Fear isn't failure, it's friction. And friction is how new shapes are formed. Fear is a test of truth. You say you want change, freedom, purpose, but when fear shows up, do you move? Fear separates the talkers from the doers. The Stoic knows, if fear can stop you, it will. So he prepares. He trains himself to feel it and move anyway. Weak men say, I want this, until fear whispers, but it might hurt. Strong men say, I want this, and when fear whispers, they whisper back, I know, I'm still going. Because truth isn't in your words, it's in your feet. Fear isn't the enemy of your dream, it's the final gate. Every meaningful goal comes with fear attached. Big vision, big fear. Real purpose, real resistance. The Stoic doesn't run from that. He understands, fear isn't blocking your dream, it's guarding it. You fear the leap because it matters. You fear the silence because your voice is needed. You fear failure because success would require you to change. Weak men avoid that gate. Strong men walk through it, not because it's easy, but because there's no other way to get there. Fear hits hardest right before the breakthrough. It knows when you're close to walking away, close to telling the truth, close to becoming something more. That's when it shouts the loudest, throws everything at you, doubt, panic, delay. The Stoic expects this. He doesn't see fear as a stop. He sees it as a signal. I must be close. Weak men turn around at the edge. Strong men step through. Because fear doesn't mean you're in danger. It means you're standing at the door of who you could become. Fear won't disappear, but you can rise above it. ITLL still show up, still whisper, still tighten your chest when the moment matters. But you don't need it gone. You need to grow bigger than it. The Stoic walks with fear at his side. Not behind, not ahead. He moves with it. He leads. Because the goal isn't to be fearless. It's to be unstoppable. Weak men wait for comfort. Strong men act with courage. And courage means this. I'm afraid and I'm doing it anyway. That's the path. That's the truth. That's freedom. Fear will walk with you forever. But that doesn't mean it has to lead. You're not weak because you feel fear. You're weak when fear decides for you. This is your moment. Not to be fearless, but to stop waiting. If this message hit you, like, subscribe and drop a comment. What fear are you done obeying? And if this video hits 5,000 likes, I'll release the next one. The Stoic truth about pain, and it'll cut deeper.